After the Sinclair family finally acknowledged me, they forced me onto a reality show to be the villain in my perfect, counterfeit sister's fairy tale. I wasn't meant to shine, only to serve as the train wreck that made their picture-perfect family seem even more admirable. In my first life, I played along. The reward? A national hate campaign that ended with me stepping off a rooftop and into oblivion. This time, I had no intention of playing by their script. Audrey, the girl who had stolen my name, smiled sweetly at me during the first day of filming. "Sloane, dear, you just came from wherever it was, so you probably don't know our morning routine. Daddy likes his coffee freshly brewed. Be a darling and get that started." In front of rolling cameras, I slapped her. Hard. "You're nothing but a parasite in my nest," I said coldly. "Who do you think you are, ordering me around?" I stepped closer, my voice dropping. "And don't call me sister. My mother had only one daughter." The entire room froze. The internet, on the other hand, ignited. The sharp crack of the slap echoed through the massive living room. Audrey clutched her cheek, eyes wide, tears brimming as she stared at me in wounded disbelief. "Sloane, why would you hit me?" she whispered, her voice trembling like she'd been struck by lightning instead of my hand. I shook off the sting and smirked. "Consider that a reminder of your place. In this family, I'm the root and you're the weed. No matter how much a weed grows, it always gets pulled out in the end." The cameras drank it all in every raw second. The live chat exploded. Whoa. First episode and it's already chaos. Finally, someone calling out the fake sweet girl act. "I'm living for this." Seriously? Audrey was just trying to be nice. This girl's nuts. She's been disrespected since she walked in. Good for her. Behind the monitors, the director looked like Christmas had come early. My mother, Catherine, recovered first. She rushed forward, shielding Audrey like she was protecting some rare gem. "Sloane, what is wrong with you?" she hissed. "Apologize to your sister this instant." I looked at her smooth, expressionless face, still perfect from the work of too many surgeons. I remembered that same face in my past life, when she'd forced me to kneel before this girl and beg forgiveness. I'd obeyed then, out of fear, out of desperate hope that she might finally want me. All I received was humiliation, mockery, and an internet's worth of hate. Now, I felt nothing but dark amusement. "Apologize," I said evenly. Could she even handle it? I turned to Catherine. "You abandoned me for 18 years and didn't bother to check if I was alive. Now you think you can play mother? Go ahead. Ask her, the imposter you chose over your real daughter, why I should be the one apologizing." Catherine's color drained. She hadn't expected me to tear open our family secrets on live TV. "You? What nonsense are you saying?" she stammered. "When did I ever abandon you?" "Oh, please," I said, stepping forward. "Was it the nanny's fault I disappeared? Did you even pretend to look for me? Spare me the melodrama. Even you don't buy your own excuses." My father, Richard Sinclair, stood abruptly, his voice like a whip. "That's enough, Sloane," he roared. "Do you have to make a scene in front of everyone? Go to your room and think about what you've done." I laughed bitterly. "A scene? You mean like forcing me onto this show to boost your fake daughter's popularity? That wasn't a scene. But the moment I fight back, suddenly I'm embarrassment? Tell me, Richard, has your hypocrisy always been this polished?" He trembled with fury, pointing at me without words. Then Ethan, my brother, finally spoke. His voice was calm, but his eyes warned me to stop. "Sloane, enough. Audrey's part of this family now. You just came back, you can't keep acting like this." I tore my arm from his grasp, glaring at the brother I had once adored. The same brother who, when the entire country turned against me, had sealed my fate with one post. "I only have one sister, Audrey." That single sentence had pushed me over the edge. "Hostile," I said with a cold smile. "Let's get something straight. I am your real sister. Your blood. You wag your tail for a stranger and bite your own family. Tell me, Ethan, what does that make you? You're not just blind. You're a traitor." His face went red, then purple, words caught in his throat. The whole room was silent, the crew frozen. The live chat had become a tidal wave. She's iconic. No filter, no fear. Finally, someone standing up to these fakes. This family's disgusting. She deserves better. I'm a fan already. Sloane for president. Audrey hid behind Catherine, sobbing, but the venom in her eyes was unmistakable. And I knew this was only the beginning. The real show, the public trial of the perfect Sinclair family, had just begun. Dinner was a silent battlefield. The long mahogany table gleamed beneath the chandelier, set with a flawless array of dishes. Every Sinclair wore the same stormy expression, the kind that could curdle wine. I, however, was starving. Calmly, I cracked open a lobster claw, the sound echoing in the thick silence as I ignored the daggers being thrown my way. In my previous life, I wouldn't have dared to sit here. I'd believed them when they said I was uncultured, that I chewed too loudly, that I didn't belong among them. I'd let their words shrink me until I hid in my room, eating instant noodles through tears. Looking back, I almost pitied my old self. Across from me, Audrey sat with her head bowed, her swollen eyes glistening as she pushed grains of rice around her plate. Catherine delicately placed a slice of abalone in her daughter's bowl, her tone dripping with false sympathy. "Sweetheart, don't let unimportant people upset you. They aren't worth losing your appetite over." Her gaze flicked to me. I took a bite of sea bass without lifting my eyes. "You're right," I said smoothly. "It's not worth it. I never waste my energy on frauds who live off stolen lives, or on relatives who are both blind and cruel. You can't reason with beasts." Ethan nearly choked on a soup.
"Sloane.
"Must you always be this vile?" I dabbed my lips with a napkin. "Afraid so," I replied lightly. "I grew up without your polished manners. You all prefer your insults wrapped in silk, while I just say what I mean. Must be exhausting, pretending all the time." "Honesty," I added, "is what well-raised people should value, isn't it?" Richard's palm struck the table with a thunderous crack. "Insolent girl," he barked. "You dare disrespect this household's rules?" I rose slowly, reaching for the crystal bowl filled with cherries. "Rules," I said softly. Then, before anyone could move, I tipped the entire bowl over Catherine's perfectly styled hair. Juice and fruit slid down her face, splattering across her pristine silk blouse. Red cherries rolled across the marble floor like tiny stains of guilt. "You want to talk to me about rules?" I asked, my voice sharp. "Where were those rules when you threw me away?" Catherine froze, trembling, her mouth opening and closing soundlessly. Audrey shrieked, "Mom!" Ethan and Richard jumped up, but I was already stepping back, watching the scene unfold with cold satisfaction. "If you want fruit," I said, "you can wash it yourself. Or are your hands still too busy abandoning your real daughter while pampering the fake one?" Catherine finally snapped. "You monster," she screamed, shaking. "I have no daughter like you." "Perfect," I said brightly. "Then let's make it official. Cancel the show, settle the accounts, and pay the 18 years of support you owe me. Include compensation for pain and suffering, plus my rightful share of Sinclair holdings. We can end this neatly. Do you dare, Catherine?" The room went still. She could only gape at me, her words caught in her throat. Richard's fury boiled over. "Enough. Get out of this house. This show is finished." I crossed my arms, utterly calm. "Fine by me. But the contract says canceling unilaterally comes with a $100 million penalty. So tell me, Richard, are you signing the check?" The color drained from his face, his fury shifting to panic. That sum wouldn't ruin them, but it would bleed them dry, and more importantly, quitting would make them look guilty before the whole world. His silence was answer enough. I smiled faintly. Didn't think so. If they wanted me gone, they'd have to do more than shout. This show was only just getting good. The Sinclairs didn't dare to quit. Faced with a ruinous penalty or national humiliation, they chose the latter, betting on their PR team to spin the narrative. Unfortunately for them, I had no intention of letting that happen. The producers, sensing drama, launched a heartwarming family memories segment. Each family was to showcase something personally meaningful. The Sinclairs unveiled a diamond necklace that sparkled like captured starlight. Audrey wore it proudly beside Catherine, both of them glowing for the cameras. The host's voice quivered with sentiment. "This is the Seraph's Tear, gifted to Miss Audrey Sinclair on her 18th birthday, a symbol of a mother's love." Catherine smiled fondly, stroking Audrey's hair. "She's my angel. This piece belongs only to her." The audience melted. This is so moving. Real love between mother and daughter. High society elegance at its finest. That necklace is made for Audrey. She's glowing. I stared at the necklace on screen, and something old and bitter twisted inside me. What a coincidence. I had one too. Slowly, I reached into my shirt and pulled out a necklace that looked almost identical, except mine was cheap. The diamond was a rhinestone, the chain dull and tarnished. Under the lights, it looked like a mockery of theirs. The host hesitated. "Miss Sloane, that necklace." I rolled the fake gem between my fingers. "This? It's the only thing I had when my mother left me behind." I was 3. I didn't remember her face, but I remembered this necklace. I thought it was proof that she loved me. "I found out later you can buy it for $5 from a street vendor." I looked straight into the camera. So, imagine my surprise when my mother bought the exact same design for someone else, only this time with real diamonds. My smile was ice. I suppose love has its price tags. $5 for one daughter, a few million for the other. The room fell deathly silent. Catherine and Audrey's faces drained of color, their perfect act cracking like cheap porcelain. The live stream chat exploded. "Wait, what? That's sick. The same design? For real?" She kept the fake one thinking it was her mother's love. I'm actually crying. Catherine's done. There's no defending that. Audrey's hand flew to her throat, clutching the diamond as though it burned. Catherine forced a brittle smile, addressing the camera. No, you misunderstand. I had that necklace remade to remember Sloane by." Her excuse faltered halfway through. Even she didn't sound convinced. I laughed softly. "To remember me? Then why is it you could cherish a fake trinket, but when I came back, the real thing, you couldn't even look at me?" "Tell me, Catherine, was it easier to mourn a symbol than to face your guilt?" She froze. 18 years. I continued. Not a letter. Not a single call. You built a new life, a new daughter, and pretended I never existed. Richard stood up abruptly. Enough. Stop spreading lies on live TV. I met his glare evenly. Lies? Then explain this. Why does my official record say abandoned instead of missing? You signed it yourself, didn't you? His face blanched. That was the detail he never expected me to know. I'd seen it the day I came back, the legal document marking me not as lost, but discarded. The revelation hit the audience like an earthquake. The internet detonated. The Sinclair family's PR team was in full-blown panic. The word abandoned had branded them permanently, searing itself into the public consciousness. No matter how many posts they deleted or how much money they poured into bot armies, they couldn't erase the outrage. The company's stock tumbled. In his study, Richard hurled an antique tea set across the room, his rage palpable. His eyes burned with a desire to tear me apart, yet still, no one dared breach the contract. Doing so now would be an admission of guilt. They had no choice but to grit their teeth and let the show play out. And I, naturally, was more than happy to oblige. The next segment was Talents and Accomplishments, the Sinclair's chance at redemption. Their plan was simple: showcase Ethan as a prodigy, a flawless heir to the family empire. Ethan took the stage in a sharply tailored suit, confidence radiating as he clicked through a meticulous PowerPoint presentation. This is the Odyssey Initiative, my 5-year strategic plan for the Sinclair Corporation, he announced. Every word oozed authority and precision. Catherine and Richard beamed, chests swelling with pride. Audrey gazed at him as if worshipping a star, her smile glowing with pure adoration. A few cautious viewers piped up in the live chat. Okay, maybe the parents are awful, but Ethan seems legit. This plan is impressive. He could really run the company someday. Credit where it's due. He's talented. I sat in the front row, watching the presentation, and almost laughed aloud. Pathetic. He hadn't changed a bit. The host handed me a microphone. Sloane, as his sister, what are your thoughts? I stood, tilting my head, pretending to weigh my words. I do have a few observations, I said slowly. All this looks very familiar. Ethan's composure faltered. The core algorithm, the market risk assessment, funny, it resembles my own senior thesis. Perhaps my dear brother was kind enough to share my work with the world. I smiled lightly. Ethan, you really are thoughtful. The audience murmured in shock. You're lying. This is my work. Ethan shouted, his face flushing crimson. Are you? I countered, pulling out my phone. Because my thesis won the national award in its category. It's archived online. Should I project it for everyone? I held it up for all to see. The title, my name, clear and undeniable. Ethan's knees buckled, his body slack with disbelief. He hadn't expected me to come prepared. In my previous life, I had watched him steal credit for this very plan, applauding him as the board of directors praised his brilliance. I had never doubted him. Only after my death did I learn the truth. Drunk and boastful, he confessed to Audrey that my work was his, and that being a Sinclair meant claiming what wasn't yours. Yes, I was a Sinclair, yet my ideas, my efforts, my very existence were treated as theirs. The live chat exploded, far louder than the necklace incident ever had. Plagiarism. He stole his sister's work. This family is rotten. Nothing about them is real. Ethan stole his sister's thesis. This is insane. Get him out of business. Academic fraud. Richard went ghostly gray, his face ashen. Overnight, the golden heir had become the national symbol of fraud. And I smiled at the camera, calm, innocent, untouchable. The show was far from over. The Sinclair family had become public enemy number one. Stocks plunged. Partners withdrew. Richard spent days on end fielding frantic calls, his hair graying at the temples. Every glance they gave me now carried the cold, lethal weight of resentment. They tried to fight back. One segment introduced a welcome home gift, a brand new cherry red Ferrari, keys gleaming on the table in front of me. Catherine's kind mother face appeared, flawless. Sloane, from now on, whatever you want, it's yours. This is from your father and me, to make up for the past. A trap, carefully laid. Accept, and the internet would brand me a gold-digging hick. Refuse, and I'd be the ungrateful villain, rejecting parental kindness. In my previous life, I had fallen for it. I'd taken the car, thrilled by the illusion of love. Headlines screamed gold digger the next day. This time, I smiled, picking up the keys, tossing them lightly. To make up for 18 years of hunger, cold, and taunts. I asked, while your fake daughter wore princess dresses and ate gourmet meals? I flung the keys onto the table. Is that how cheap your conscience is? I don't want charity. I want what's mine. 20% of the Sinclair Corporation, the shares my grandfather left me. Transfer them immediately. Catherine's face went green. My grandfather, co-founder of the company, had willed his shares to me at 18. They had hidden it, assuming the naive country girl wouldn't know. You reap what you sow, Catherine, I said with a cold laugh. But they weren't finished. A special guest appeared, a woman in frumpy, ill-fitting clothes, claiming to be my childhood friend. She grabbed my hands, eyes wide with fake concern. Sloane, you've got everything now. Don't treat your parents like this. Remember how you dreamed of a big house and a car? The Sinclairs smiled smugly, thinking they'd pulled a fast one. I stared at her, then remembered. Jenny, the gossip's daughter, my former tormentor. Our friendship had been a lie, built on envy and pranks. I let go of her hands, feigning confusion. I'm sorry, who are you? Her face froze. Jenny, don't you remember me? Oh yes, I said sweetly. The one who stole the neighbor's chickens and got grounded? Or the one who left a dead mouse in my backpack after I scored higher on exams? The audience erupted in laughter. Jenny's mouth fell open. The trap had backfired spectacularly. Stealing chickens and planting dead mice? Classic. Sloane remembered everything. This is incredible. The Sinclairs are losing completely. Jenny ran off stage in tears, humiliated. 2 attacks, 2 failures. Richard's hands shook, knuckles white. The family had lost control completely. The naive country girl they tried to manipulate had become a wild horse, dragging their legacy to the edge of a cliff. By the time the show reached its midpoint, the Sinclairs were all but defeated. Apart from their obligatory appearances on camera, they spent most of their time hiding in their rooms. The only other family on the program was the Hayes family. Lincoln Hayes, a celebrated actor, and his parents were the picture of refinement and composure. Both professors, his parents exuded intellect and warmth. Lincoln himself was humble, grounded, and completely free of celebrity arrogance, a calm island in our storm of chaos. They had maintained a polite distance from our drama until one night. Catherine, likely provoked by the company's plummeting finances, finally lost control. She burst into my room, rage twisting her face into a grotesque mask. Sloane, what more do you want? Are you never satisfied until you've utterly destroyed this family? I should never have given birth to you, she spat. I wish you'd never been found. I wish you'd died out there. Each word cut like ice, lodging itself in my chest. Even without illusions about her cruelty, hearing a mother wish death upon her child struck a primal nerve. I met her fury with a calm, detached mask. The feeling is mutual, I said softly. I also wish I never had a mother like you. I stepped past her, leaving the room, needing air. The garden was quiet, moonlight spilling across the grass. I sat on a swing, staring up, trying to keep my tears from falling. Footsteps crunched softly on gravel. Lincoln appeared, a bottle of water in hand, and offered it without a word. You okay? There was no pity in his voice, no condescension, just quiet concern. I accepted the water, and he sat on the swing beside me. We remained silent for a long time, only the creak of chains and rustle of leaves breaking the night. Finally, he spoke. You're very brave. Facing your own family like this, all alone. The truth struck me hard. It was hard, living a second life weighed down by the trauma of the first, each step razor-sharp with danger. I had thought myself invincible, but exhaustion crept in. It's not about bravery, I said, turning away. They owe me. I'm just collecting my debt. He didn't press. He simply stayed, silent and steady, until the storm inside me began to settle. Unbeknownst to us, hidden cameras had captured every moment. By the next day, the hashtag Sloan and Lincoln quietly climbed the trending charts. The clip of us on the swings, bathed in moonlight, sparked the internet. OMG, the fierce heroine and the gentle star? Ship it. Lincoln's gaze at Sloan. I can't. This is 1000x more compelling than watching her destroy the Sinclairs. Sinclairs, hope that burns. Your abandoned daughter is cherished by someone else. The Sinclairs saw it. Their faces darkened, thunderclouds in human form. All their efforts to paint me as a monster had backfired. Now I had a beloved movie star as my rumored ally. Catherine, scrolling furiously, snapped. Sloan, flirting with men on national television. I gave her a casual glance. It's still more dignified than an old woman fawning over a fake daughter. She froze, unable to comprehend that the girl she discarded could now be untouchable, admired, and completely beyond her reach. The producers, relentless in their search for drama, announced a surprise room inspection. I knew who had orchestrated it. Audrey. She had humiliated me this way before, stuffing my room with filth while I was away and letting the cameras in to create a scandal. This time, I was ready. When the host and crew arrived, I feigned panic. What? Now? But I haven't cleaned up yet. The more I protested, the more eager they became. Audrey's tiny, triumphant smirk said it all. She thought the trap was set. The door opened, and the room was flawless. Sunlight flooded spotless windows. The bed was made to perfection. Books were stacked neatly. Not a speck of dirt in sight. Everyone froze. My so-called country bumpkin persona was immediately exposed as false. The host laughed awkwardly. Well, Sloan is tidy. Audrey, desperate, scanned the room for any flaw. Then her eyes landed on a pink, leather-bound journal. Oh, Sloan, you keep a diary? The camera zoomed in. The page revealed elegant script. My inward smile widened. The journal was Audrey's, pilfered earlier that day. Feigning panic, I lunged for it. Don't look. Millions saw the words. Sloan was cruel to Mother again today. I feel useless. What can I do to make them love me forever? The words painted Audrey as the fragile, fearful child she pretended to be. Public opinion shifted instantly. Poor Audrey. She's terrified of losing her family. Maybe Sloan is too harsh. This is heartbreaking. So much complexity. Both sides are suffering. I let her attempt to snatch the diary, then flipped to a page containing her secret plan. Oh, what's this? I have to make everyone hate her. That's the only way to protect my place. Her face paled, lips trembling. You wrote this? I asked, loud enough for the cameras to catch. Plotting to frame me as unstable? No, it's not mine. You stole it, she screamed. I raised an eyebrow. Then why are you hysterical? I revealed the cover. Sloan's secret garden, gold script gleaming. She had trapped herself, and the live audience and the internet saw it. What? The victim is the villain? Sloan is a genius. That twist. Legendary reversal. She's no lamb. Audrey fainted, collapsing dramatically. Catherine and Ethan rushed to her side. Chaos reigned on set. I stood cold and detached, watching. Audrey, this is only the beginning. The real reckoning is yet to come. Audrey spent 2 days in the hospital after her staged fainting episode. The Sinclairs seized the opportunity to demand a halt to the broadcast, giving her time to recover. Their plan was simple: let the scandal simmer down and wait for the storm to pass. They didn't count on the internet. The hashtag scheming counterfeit Audrey dominated the trending charts for 2 full days, marked with a blazing red, exploding icon. Every clip of Audrey looking pitiable was dissected frame by frame. She became a national sensation as the master of crocodile tears. When the broadcast resumed, the Sinclairs no longer just hated me, they feared me. They realized I was no longer a pawn. I was a force, ready to obliterate their world. That evening, everyone gathered for dinner in the main dining room. Midway through, my phone rang. Unknown number. I almost ignored it, but Richard, rigid at the head of the table, gave me an idea. I answered and discreetly activated speakerphone. A furious male voice erupted, filling the room. Richard Sinclair, you backstabbing, lying son of a bitch. You promised we were partners, and you stole everything. I've got proof of every dirty deal you ever made, and I'm going to ruin you. Richard went from pale to deep purple in seconds. He lunged at me, trembling with rage. You hang up that phone. Now. I widened my eyes, playing terrified innocence. Dad, who is this? Why are they saying these terrible things? Are they true? Ethan lunged for the phone. I pulled it out of his reach. The voice on the line rattled off bombshell after bombshell, shady property deals, bribed officials, mistresses. Each revelation sank deeper into Richard's soul. Catherine went white. Richard, cornered, smashed the table in a fit of fury. It was you, he screamed. You set this up. I calmly ended the call. Dad, I just accidentally hit the speakerphone button. Besides, if you're clean, you have nothing to fear, right? The internet was already alive, digging through Richard's past. Within hours, every unethical, shady, and illegal act he'd ever done was public knowledge. The Sinclair Corporation's stock plummeted. Their empire, once untouchable, teetered on collapse. And I sat in the eye of the storm, watching it all burn. Richard, this is only the beginning. What you owe me, my mother, and every crushed soul along your path, you will pay it all back, with interest. The sky had fallen on the house of Sinclair. Richard faced open revolt from the board, partners were fleeing, and banks were calling in loans. The facade of the loving patriarch was gone. His eyes bore only murderous intent. Catherine spent days weeping, muttering "it's over" to herself. Ethan was a ghost in his room, ruined by the plagiarism scandal. Audrey cowered, too scared to leave her room. Silence suffocated the mansion. The Sinclairs found a new tactic, the cold shoulder. On camera, I became invisible. They paraded as a happy family, leaving me outside their circle. They believed isolation would break me. In my last life, it might have. I had begged for crumbs of warmth, desperate for approval. Now I laughed. Their forced composure revealed only cruelty and hypocrisy. I filled my days with reading, messaging Lincoln, or speaking directly to the cameras, sharing life in the country. Stories of near poisoning the village with mushrooms, falling into a manure pit, and smelling for 3 days straight brought laughter and empathy online. Elamio Sloan is a disaster in the best way. Sloan, the manure pit warrior. I love her. Her stories are better than all the Sinclair drama combined. Ratings soared. Their silent treatment backfired spectacularly. As the finale approached, I prepared my ultimate move. Using the burner phone from production, I dialed a memorized number. A gruff, suspicious voice answered. Who is this? Do you remember the daughter you sold 18 years ago? Silence. Do you want her back? Or another payday from the Sinclairs? A sharp intake of breath, then greedy, heavy breathing. I had him. Mark Fuller, degenerate gambler, human trash, and Audrey's biological father. Come to the studio on the night of the finale. Bring the contract with the Sinclairs and tell the truth. I'll give you $1 million. He agreed immediately. I looked out into the blackness. The darkest hour is always before dawn. House of Sinclair, your judgment day is here. The grand finale arrived. The studio was packed. The nation watched, breathless. The Sinclairs sat like statues, faces ashen, bodies stiff, with forced composure. Arrogance stripped away, only hollow shells remained. The host introduced the final segment, Heartfelt Reflections. Catherine stammered, unable to speak. Richard radiated silent fury. Ethan stared at the floor, humiliated. Audrey attempted one last dramatic plea, dressed beautifully, tears glinting, playing the self-sacrificing victim. The live chat erupted. Here we go again, the masterclass in manipulation. Stop talking, Audrey. Cringe overload. Then it was my turn. All eyes and cameras focused on me. I smiled directly at the camera. Before I share my thoughts, I'd like to invite a special guest. The host and director panicked. This was unscripted. A side door burst open. A disheveled man fought security, eyes scanning the stage. When he spotted Audrey, he sobbed, lunging forward. My baby girl, that's my daughter. Audrey froze, terror-stricken. I stepped forward, steadying him. This is Mr. Mark Fuller, Audrey's biological father. The words hit like a bomb. Silence engulfed the studio. The twist was unimaginable. And this was just the beginning. Mark Fuller knelt on the stage, tears and snot streaking his face, trembling under the bright lights. He pointed a shaking finger at Richard and Catherine, his voice hoarse with anguish. It was them. They bought my daughter. 18 years ago, I was drowning in debt, in deep with loan sharks. They came to me. They said their daughter was gone, that Catherine couldn't have any more children. They took a liking to my Audrey and promised to pay off all my debts, with a huge sum on top if I gave her to them. I was weak. Foolish. I agreed. Mark unfolded a yellowed, creased document for the cameras. Here's the proof, the adoption agreement. $50,000 for my daughter. The camera zoomed in. The world saw it for what it was, a bill of sale. $50,000 for a human life. Brutal. Unforgivable. The audience went silent. Then the live chat exploded. What? They bought a child. This is insane. Audrey wasn't switched. She was purchased. Catherine didn't want her real daughter. She bought a replacement. Richard and Catherine slumped in their chairs, ash-faced, marionettes with cut strings. Every excuse, every lie had crumbled. Ethan gaped, stunned. Audrey, the long-time self-styled innocent, finally broke.
No.
You're lying. My father is Richard Sinclair, she screamed, lunging at Mark. Get out. You liar. Mark's tears flowed. Audrey, I'm sorry. I was wrong. Her fury snapped. She attacked him with feral desperation, kicking and hitting, shrieking her rage. Security intervened, dragging her away. She screamed, cried, cursed, a hurricane of chaos. The finale ended in a maelstrom of scandal and crime. The Sinclair dynasty's mask of respectability had shattered before the nation. They were disgraced, ruined. I stood alone on the ruined stage, watching them flee, watching their empire burn. There was no gloating, no thrill. Just quiet, profound peace. The debts, the grudges, the past, they were all settled. Sloane Sinclair, the girl who had died broken in the rain, could finally rest. After the broadcast, the house of Sinclair fell fast. Richard and Catherine were arrested for human trafficking. Sinclair Corporation's years of financial crime, tax evasion, and fraud were exposed. The company went bankrupt. Ethan's plagiarism ruined his academic future, degree revoked, reputation destroyed. Audrey's breakdown was total. She was committed to a psychiatric hospital, screaming her claim as the Sinclair heiress, recognizing no one. Mark Fuller took the $1 million and returned to the casinos. His cheating was discovered, and both legs were broken as punishment, leaving him crippled. Karma had collected its toll. It was over. I handled the remaining legal affairs, then faced the press one last time. Cameras flashed like lightning as I spoke. As the sole legal heir of Richard Sinclair, following bankruptcy liquidation, all remaining assets of the Sinclair estate will be inherited by me. Gasps rippled through the room. An astronomical fortune. Then I continued. I am donating this inheritance to establish a foundation for children who are victims of bullying, familial abuse, and abandonment. It is my hope that no child will ever suffer as I did. I bowed to the cameras, my heart lighter than it had ever been. Thank you for tuning in to the Sinclair Dynasty, a tale of a cuckoo in the nest. The show is over. And I said, turning, am about to start my own life. Outside, the sun shone warm and bright. I breathed deeply, free at last. My phone buzzed. A message from Lincoln. Congratulations on your new life. Dinner tomorrow? I typed back a single word. Okay. Looking at the endless blue sky, I smiled. The story of Sloane Sinclair had ended, but my story, my real life, was just beginning.